I'm Roy Lee Lindsay with the North Carolina Pork Council, and I want everyone to remember bacon makes everything better.
Welcome in Wake Forest and head coach Dave Clawson. And our first question, Coach, will come to your right side, third row, gentleman in the blue.
Hey, Coach Clawson, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, of course. So you've been in Wake Forest since 2013. 11 years later, here we are down the line. I wanted to ask you, how has college football changed from your perspective, especially with the NIL coming into play, the expansion of the transfer portal, everything that's happened pre and post-COVID?
It's become a completely different sport in terms of the off the field. This will be my 25th year as a head coach at different levels. FCS non-scholarship, FCS scholarship, Group of Five, and now Power Four. I can remember 10, 11 years ago when you were allowed to put out bagels and not put out cream cheese. And now we're paying players tens, hundreds, and millions of dollars a year with unlimited free agency. And I think the product on the field is as good as it's ever been. I think there's a lot of good with this, that more and more players are pushing off the NFL, and so many good players are coming back. So I think the product on the field is as good as it's ever been. But certainly the job of being a head football coach at this level of football has changed drastically in the last 2 to 3 years. And in some ways, for me, it's been a fun challenge that you learn a new skill set and new ways of doing things and managing your football team. So it's the evolution of our sport, and you have to embrace it.
Coach, to your left, far left, young lady in the pink towards the wall, fourth row.
Hey, Coach, this is Anna Adams with 24/7 Sports. Today being reported that roster sizes, I believe, are on pace to increase to 105. Just as you figure out how to allocate resources, what do you foresee as the biggest challenges there? Is just dealing with a bigger roster and scholarship?
Well, I think part of it is the smartest way to get to 105. I can't imagine everyone's going to take 20 more high school players. And I think it's trying to predict now what your roster turnover going to look like every year in the allocation of high school players and portal players. There's, with everything that's done, there's going to be unfortunate consequences. The days of the walk-on in college football are probably leaving us. And so we've had some incredible walk-on success stories at Wake Forest. Grant Dawson was a walk-on that became a captain for us. Jack Freudenthal was a walk-on that became a captain for us. Nick Anderson was a walk-on that had 3 interceptions against Virginia Tech, was on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, and now is one of our best players and a scholarship player. And unfortunately, those success stories are going to be fewer and far between. But that is what the courts are telling us that we have to do. I don't think there's any college football coach that likes eliminating walk-ons, but what's basically been told to us by the courts is the way that we've been operating is illegal. And so this is going to be the next evolution of college football rosters, and I don't think anybody knows exactly how it's going to play out because we're all doing this for the first time. So I try to focus on Wake Forest and the best way to build a competitive and a championship program at Wake Forest. And I still think for us, it's going to be recruiting players that love the game of football, that their academics and the quality of our degree matters to them, that are high character, and then we have to have enough collective or revenue sharing resources to keep our best players. And I think even from a year ago to now, we've done that. These 3 guys are in their 5th and 6th years, and all 3 of them could be in the NFL if they wanted. A year ago, we didn't have this. And I think the fact that we have players the caliber of Jasheen Davis, Taylor Morin, and DeVonte Gordon coming back to play their last year at Wake Forest shows that we've made progress in the last year.
Coach, to your right, third row, gentleman in the maroon shirt.
Hey, Coach. Scout Hughes with WBRF. At this time last year, we had a different scheduling model for the ACC. Obviously, with expansion, we have a new scheduling model. How excited are you to play Duke and NC State more regularly and, to a lesser extent, North Carolina?
We're very excited. When the old scheduling model, the oldest, newest model, one of the really negatives of it is right now our rivalry with NC State is the second longest continuous rivalry in the country, I believe, behind Wisconsin and Minnesota. And we were going to lose that. And so if it took bringing in 2 West Coast teams and a team from Texas for allow us to play NC State every year, then it's all been worth it. So we love our rivalry with them. We love our in-state rivalries. The history of Wake Forest in the ACC is Tobacco Road in our in-state games. And our players like those games, our fans like those games. And honestly, for a team on the East Coast, we're going to have to travel to California probably once every other year. When we played in the Military Bowl, half our team had never been to D.C. When we played in the Pinstripe Bowl, 3/4 of our team had never been to New York City. And I would imagine 80% of our team has never been to California. So it's a great life experience for our players. We'll go out there a day early. We'll do something with them, adjust to the time change. And I think it's all a healthy, positive experience for our student athletes.
Coach, keep it on the right-hand side, far right, fourth row, David Teal.
Dave over here. David Teal from the Times-Dispatch.
Oh,
Richmond.
David, I remember you well. Richmond days.
Well, and when you were at Richmond, you competed in a league that was accustomed to multiple playoff bids every season, including your team. Did that become a part of your recruiting sales pitch? And related, how essential will it be for the ACC to be a multiple bid playoff league?
So you're dating me now, but I was in that league when it went from the Yankee Conference to the A10 to the CAA, and that was certainly a sell in that league, that we were one of the stronger back then 1AA, now FCS conferences, that we consistently got multiple bids. And I think that's our challenge now in this conference, is to establish a level of play and to have enough teams that we become a multiple bid conference. So the positive for us is, being in the same division as Florida State and Clemson for so many years, right? The second that you don't win that game, your postseason hopes were dashed. And I think the good thing now is that you can maybe have a hiccup early and it doesn't eliminate your goal of making the playoffs. So I think it's a selling point. I think our challenge in the ACC and as ACC coaches is let's put a product on the field that warrants getting a second, third bid. And then once we get in there, we've got to make noise. I don't think we have a football problem in our league. I think we have a perception problem. And the only way to change that perception is to put teams in. And then once we get in there, win those games against those other 2 conferences.
I am a better person and a more effective business owner for having known and learned from Emily Parks over many years now. Emily's company, Organize for Success, helps multi-passionate business owners and executives bring harmony to all the layers of their lives, from work to side projects, from friends and family to hobbies, community, and beyond. With Emily's help, you too can make every minute matter. She helps you determine what earns your time and how to efficiently accomplish what matters. One of the many things I love about Emily is that she does not impose her will on her clients. She listens to them. That way she can better help them cultivate the lives they want to live. You can set up a complimentary call with Emily today by visiting organizeforsuccess.com.
JD, we will start in the first row right in front of you to your left.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Your coach talked about the fact that you could all be in the NFL at this point. Why continue to play for Dave Clawson? Why continue to stay at Wake Forest and see this through all the way to the end?
Well, it's a multitude of reasons. For one, I respect Coach Clawson a lot. I feel like he's a man of integrity. I feel like that he's not just a football coach. I feel like he's a life coach. So just being at an institution like Wake Forest sets me up not just for the NFL, but for life as well. Second, like we said last year, it didn't really go too good for us, and I feel like that, that this offseason we worked out with a chip on our shoulders. Our mantra was earn it, and I feel like they had to earn everything we do. And lastly, education. Wake Forest is one of the top educational schools in the country, and I feel like that coming back from my last season allowed for me to get my degree. And then also, I'm thankful for Rotor Quad. They blessed all of us in a way for us to be financially stable. So just those reasons alone, I feel like what made me come back and just wanted to maximize my opportunity as a Wake Forest Demon Deacon.
JD, we'll stay on the left side, midway, right in the middle.
Cam Lemons, 24/7 Sports, Demon Deacon Digest. JD, you're in year 3 of Brad Lambert's defense. The defensive line returns you, Kevin Pointer, Kendron Wayman. There's a ton of snaps returning back. What should the expectation be for the defensive line going into 2024?
Hungry. In order to play D-line, you got to be hungry. Like I said, we face creatures every week. So just the fact that, just offenses, high-flying offenses and stuff like that. So just being able to just, stop the tempo, change momentum. I feel like that, D-line is one of the most impactful positions on the team. And I feel like just by having guys, returning starters like Bryce Gaines, Kevin Pointer, Kendron Wayman, and then have up-and-coming guys like Carrington Lee, Tyler Walton, B.J. Williams. I just feel like that, we're a close-knit community, and we're brothers. So I feel like that, by playing for each other, I feel like that the ultimate goal is, just to be the best version that we can be.
JD still on the left side. Follow the center aisle up and then just to the left.
Ralph Amsden, College Football Apostles. 3 years in a row you've killed NC State, but you're on a 2-year losing streak. I just want to know how much that game means to you, what it means to be able to show out in that game every single year.
It means a lot. I feel like every game means a lot to me. But personally, just rivalry games, it stands out a little bit more because, it's the stakes for the best team in state. And I pride myself on being a Big Four team. I know the last time that Wake Forest was a Big Four champion was back in 2019. So just being able to play schools like Duke, UNC, NC State, I feel like it's a blessing because I feel like that I'm a part of the history. And then just lastly, they're a good team. I respect those teams. So just being able to play against them, we have a chip on our shoulder. So we just got to show up and show out.
JD, to your right, about the fourth row, hard right.
Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. I'm curious, in your career, how has your pass rush skills and your methods, how has that developed and changed in your time?
Just being a student of the game. I feel like that each and every week, we face different tackles. Not every tackle is the same. So just watching film and seeing their tactics and how they pass set, how they protect the quarterback. So I know which type of move that'll work this week. Watching previous games where they face other pass rushers and stuff like that. See what moves that they worked on or that they hit. Either it worked or it didn't work. So just trying to apply that to my game. Just being a student of the game will probably take me far.
JD, your last question from the podium. Given your experience, how will you know that the defense had a good preseason camp?
Just by swarming to the ball. I feel like we pride ourselves on defense just to fly around, have fun. I feel like that, my mantra is see ball, get ball. So wherever the ball is at, we try to swim around the ball because, the ball is the program. And if you're around the ball, good things can happen.
Michael Berard, Managing Director Investments with the Founders Group at Stifel, works with a select group of high net worth individuals and institutions to develop and implement investment plans tailored to their specific objectives and risk tolerances. If you are interested in highly personalized, well-researched guidance and outstanding personal service, you can contact Michael at 984-364-2002. That's 984-364-2002. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
DeVonte Gordon with us for a couple of minutes.
Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. DeVonte, what is the the hunger in the program, considering the way last season went, considering where you're at in your eligibility? What is sort of the mindset and the hunger for you guys this season?
Yeah, I say the hunger is high. Obviously, last season didn't go as we had planned, but that kind of motivated us this whole offseason. We've been working as hard as we ever have. I know a lot of guys in my room and every other room and on the team, feel as though we left something on the table. There's every different direction you can say that went wrong last year, but at the end of the day, you got to take accountability and look at what you did wrong yourself. And I think that's something that everybody has really embraced this offseason. And I think we're ready to, attack this camp and see, how far we can take it this season.
DeVonte, left side, first row right in front of you.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. DeVonte, you spoke on the fact that there are 17 starters coming back to this team. Just what it says not only about this team as a unit from the inside out, but what it says in a world of college football where we're not seeing things like that anymore.
17 starters being back speaks volumes. I'll say one, the amount of trust that we have in coach. Because, you're seeing a lot of players leave. All of these players coming back represents the program that we have here. And that last year wasn't an expectation. Last year wasn't a representation of us. And that we trust that, we trust each other to right what went wrong last year, and we trust that our coaches will lead us in the right way to, bring Wake Forest to where Wake Forest wants to be.
DeVonte, from the podium, your time at Wake Forest, you've gone from the scout team to being a starter. That's a heck of a journey. When you reflect, what do you think about?
I think about that often. It's kind of been a long journey for me. I came in a semester late because I had an injury in high school, and then when I first got here, I wasn't that experienced in football. But playing behind guys like Justin Herron and Zach Tom, who both also play left tackle, which I'm going to play this year, and they're now in the NFL, continuing to ball and do their thing, really helped me with my development and, just modeling how their work ethic and how they looked at the game and things like that. I think Michael Juergens last year helped me to take a big step in my leadership as he, rallied us all in times that we might look down and things like that. That team never quit. So I think just playing behind offensive linemen or with offensive linemen that were really good at the game and, set really good examples for me, helped me to come to where I am today.
Question for DeVonte. We're going to get the microphone left side of the room, right in the middle.
Cam Lemons, Demi Deacon Digest, 24/7 Sports. DeVonte, last year it felt like Wake Forest kind of got away from what made them so good, especially offensively. Turnovers, inability to convert short yardage. Sometimes people just not knowing what route they're running. What was the conversations like after the season of trying to get back to what the Wake Forest way is and being a program that that doesn't beat itself?
Yeah, I think a big part of that was taking accountability. Like I was saying, it's easy to point fingers. This went wrong, that went wrong. But you got to take accountability because I guarantee there was a time that I messed up last year. I guarantee there was a time that the guy next to me messed up last year, and things that we can all prevent. And like you said, things that Wake Forest wasn't used to doing. So I think looking at within yourself and fixing the things within yourself and trusting that our teammates who are with us, while I got to lead them, trusting that they'll be able to get those things right too.
DeVonte, your last question to the right, third row, gentleman in the blue.
How you doing, DeVonte?
Good, and yourself?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. TJ Wilkerson, 90.9 The Light. Recently in the transfer portal, sorry, I can't speak today. In the transfer portal, you picked up Hank Bachmeier, former Boise State and Louisiana Tech quarterback. What's it been like working with him in the spring and the offseason?
Yeah, I think Hank's been a great addition, both on the field and off the field. He's a great person. He's a good player. He's a great player. He's somebody that's bringing competitiveness to the room. He's competing for a job. Either way it goes, I have full support in both of those quarterbacks. And any season you'll need two quarterbacks, more or less. So I'm really excited for him and what he can do, and I can't wait to see.
One of my favorite restaurants in Raleigh for many years now has been The Oak Scratch Kitchen and Bourbon Bar. It's located on Lake Boone Trail, which is a perfect location for a great meal and beverage if you're on your way to nearby Carter Finley Stadium or perhaps PNC Arena for a concert, Wolfpack or Hurricanes game, or other event. The menu is incredibly tasty and creative. The atmosphere is a lot of fun. The bourbon options are as high-end and varied as you'll find anywhere. The staff is super classy and first-rate, and I've just always loved the people, the food, and the overall vibe there. When I took Carolina Hurricanes owner Tom Dundon to lunch, yes, meaning the billionaire who owns the hockey team, I took him to the Oak. Seriously, it's that good. Learn more or make a reservation by visiting their website, theoakraleigh.com. That's theoakraleigh.com.
Let's lock arms together for the next 3.5 hours. Let's give everything we have and let's redefine this season. Come on, man. Let's redefine this season right now.
Mayor Dungeon at the Players Lounge. How are you, Taylor?
I'm good. How are you?
So, Commissioner Jim Phillips deemed this conference as the conference of the quarterbacks. What can fans expect for you to bring to the table?
Conference of quarterbacks. With me being a wide receiver, it means I'm going to go out there, have to make some plays. Same with everyone in our room. We're really excited about our room. Getting a guy like Donovan Green back is huge for us. Guys like Walker Merrill, Horatio Fields, Deuce Alexander, Micah Mays, getting guys like that going. It's conference of quarterbacks, but a quarterback's not a quarterback without some big-time weapons on the outside that can make some plays.
Taylor, right side, about the fifth row, all the way in the back.
Hey, Taylor. Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Curious how your game and skills have developed during your time at Wake, and also the anticipation for you, the eagerness to kind of maybe even take on a bigger role this year from the receiver position.
I'm really excited. I think being at Wake Forest, I've gotten the opportunity to play both inside in the slot and outside. So being able to learn from the best of the best, it feels like our receiver room over the past couple of years has really been top notch, and being able to learn from those guys has truly been a blessing. Learning from a coach like Coach Higgins, former wide receiver coach, and our current receiver coach, Coach Confessor. It's truly been a blessing, and I've been had the opportunity to wear multiple hats within the offense, with also on special teams as well. So I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I am today.
Taylor, back to the left side, just behind the young lady who asked the first question.
Hey, Taylor, Tony Syracuse, Last Word on Sports. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, man. So in your time at Wake Forest, you've been on the receiving end working with a lot of different quarterbacks already, because you've been there several years, a lot of quarterbacks. What did you see in spring from Bachmeier and from Kern that gives you confidence for this season?
A lot of things to be excited about. I think, like Devo said, we have full confidence in both of those guys. Hank has come in, done a tremendous job getting up to speed with the offense, and Michael Kern obviously finished the year strong like he did last season. So excited about both of those guys, and like Devo said, we're more than likely going to need both of them to finish the season strong. And if it goes past that, we have some young talent in that room as well that we're excited about and know that can get ready.
Taylor, right in front of you, first row.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Taylor, over 160 catches, over 2,200 yards receiving, and then you mentioned special teams, over 700 yards there. Of everything that we've seen from you already, what do you have left in the tank? What are we about to see this season?
You got to leave it all out there, and that doesn't just start with me. It starts with all of our captains, all of our older 4th, 5th, 6-year guys. We're an old football team, and we're ready to leave it all out there, whether that's maximizing hours in the weight room, in the film room, making sure we're doing everything right from a sleep and nutrition perspective. Like, it's really our last go-around for a lot of us guys. So whatever it takes to win, we're ready to do that and get Wake Forest right back where it belongs.
Taylor, right side, third row, gentleman in blue.
How you doing, Taylor?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. I'm TJ Wilkerson from 90.9 The Light. So I don't know if you're a man of stats, but you entered the top 10 in Wake Forest history in receiving yards, along with your former teammate, A.T. Perry. What does that mean to you, and have you talked to A.T. about that? Sorry.
It means the world to me, and it's very humbling to be mentioned in that stat category and alongside A.T. But truthfully, when you say things like that, I think about the guys that made that possible. I think about catching balls from Sam Hartman. I think about Devo pass protecting. I think about DeMont Claiborne, Christian Beal Smith, guys like that back there, that are taking on linebackers, blitzing full speed ahead. So it really is a full team effort, and a lot of the times wide receivers get a lot of the credit, but there's a lot more that goes into it than just me catching the football. And I'm very thankful to have had the success that I have because of those guys.
Taylor, your last question from the podium. You are a multiple recipient of ACC All-Academic Team. at least 3 times. What does it take to balance academics and athletics? What's the trick?
Time management. You don't come to a place like Wake Forest and not go after it and getting a meaningful degree. So just figuring out time, planning ahead to be able to study, and then make sure that's not taken away from what I have to do on the football field. So time management is huge, and I've been very fortunate to be able to get my undergraduate degree in engineering from Wake Forest, and now I'm working on my MBA degree, finishing up in December. So that's something that I'm really excited about, and like Devo said, we're trying to win the game of life, not just the game of football. So it's truly a blessing to be able to go to school like Wake Forest.